My next guest is a very talented group of guys whose debut album is out right now. It's called Pineapple Sunrise. Guys of Beach Weather.
Hi.
Hi,
Gentlemen.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing well.
Reeve, Sean, Nick.
Yes.
You are on the road right now.
Yeah.
All
We're
over
flying.
the place.
We're in the sky. We're in the road.
Yeah.
We're in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the ocean 2
We were in
days
the
ago.
ocean. Yeah.
What was going on in the ocean?
Just playing around.
Playing
Jellyfish.
around with-
A lot of jelly. Just
I had a jellyfish skim me down
We
at
played
Hangout
a
Fest.
festival called Hangout in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Hangout Festival, our first time doing it, and hopefully we get invited back. I don't think we said anything too dirty for them to not invite us. So
When people say that they were on the road in air, water, one would think you're playing a cruise or something
Right,
like that,
right. Ooh,
right?
that-
'Cause there's
that's-
a
Yeah.
lot of those.
Carnival
too.
hit us up. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Are those something you would play?
definitely.
yeah, I think so. I did one a long time ago, but I would love to do another
I've
one.
never done it.
What was that like?
It was fun. It was chaotic, but it was a lot of fun. You just had like stages all around the boat, and then when you would go to the island, there was a stage set up on the island, and like it was just constant music. It was fun.
Well, if Beach Weather is going to do a cruise, what would you call it? I mean, it seems so apropos.
I mean, it's just beach weather cruise. No, what would we call it? Reed, got anything clever?
For once, I have nothing to say.
I know. I was just gonna
Yeah.
say. I'll think of something. Maybe by the end of the interview, I'll just shout something.
Tap the link to find the name.
Now I'm gonna be.
You know, like
stealing.
15 years from now, when
Yeah,
you guys
when we
are,
get
are just like chilling, you're like, we only want to do cruises from this point in our career.
We'll just change our band name to like
Pineapple
more of like
Sunship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yo.
Spicy.
Okay. That's all you needed to
You
say.
just need to give me a minute. I got it. Yeah.
Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, you're halfway there with the
Pineapple
white pants.
sunship.
Yeah. These are my Miami pants.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say these are my mom's pants. Patty.
You guys are just so busy right now with touring,
Yeah.
and this 2023 is going to be insane for you. Congrats on that
is.
because
Thank
of all the
you.
attention
Thanks,
you're
man.
getting. I mean, is this kind of like back to the old days, except a little bit nicer, where you get to fly and
Exactly
stuff?
like that. It feels like the old times, but a lot better. I feel like not like that we're flying
Yeah.
high and fancy. We're still way back of the plane. But
Yeah.
I just feel like everything. We took a nice good breath at home, and we came out like with fresh eyes, fresh ears, just doing the whole thing all over. And I think it just feels a lot better this time around. We're a little older than
This-
we were when we started.
Yeah, it's like one of those feel-good stories from
Yeah.
TikTok where it resurrected
Yeah.
beach weather.
Yeah.
And rightfully
Just
so.
in
You know,
time.
you always hear about those. By the way, this show is called B-Sides because of the fact that the best songs or your favorite songs are usually found on your own on the
Right.
B-side of a record, right? It's not just the hits on the A-side. And you guys kind of embody that.
Yeah.
Sex, Drugs,
Sex
Etc.
Drugs was always our like favorite song from the EP, but we just for some reason never pushed it as a single back in the day. So it was like when it happened, it was very serendipitous where we were like, oh yeah, maybe we should have done this all along.
So
it
thank
was
God
sort of
it's the
spoken
song I
for.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hates all of the other songs.
Every
I
other
was about to
song.
say,
He
you
only
hate playing
likes
Swoon,
Sex
don't
Drugs.
you?
Oh, I love to play Swoon.
He just said that
actually.
on stage. It's his
Yeah.
favorite song to play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do like Swoon.
You did say that, right? I thought
Yeah,
I
I
heard you
did.
say that. Yeah.
No BSing on that.
No BS on B-sides.
But that particular song, being so old, you probably really just put it into the back of your mind and moved on and things like that. Do you recall when you first wrote it and where
Yeah, I can remember singing the vocals on the track. We were in our friend's shed in Arizona. We literally made that record in his
summer,
shed
yeah.
in the summer in the backyard in Phoenix. And I remember we would have to turn the AC off to do vocals because it was just the only thing that was keeping the room cool, but it was loud. So we turned it off. There was a cricket in the room the whole time too.
Yeah.
Remember, or one of the sessions.
In every song.
Every song there's a cricket in the
cricket,
background.
yeah.
We had to cut it out. But I remember standing between whatever mattresses or blankets, whatever we made for like a vocal booth, and sweating because it was
You have
so
to turn the
hot.
AC off to
Yeah, turn
do
the AC
takes.
off.
Yeah.
That's real rock and roll.
Yeah, just doing it ourselves.
I'm going to have to
baby.
re-listen to the older songs for the crickets.
Listen to home movies. In the beginning of home
Yeah, the
movies,
cricket.
yeah, like listen to the vocal. You'll hear like at the end of words, you'll hear a little like.
Because there was nothing we could do. The cricket was in his vocal track.
Yeah.
So he couldn't just like zap out. And
Yeah.
especially that time, like we had zero
We didn't know what we were
capability of what
doing.
we were doing. I mean, we literally didn't know what we were
He
doing.
opened like the session for Sex Drugs like sort of recently and was just like, this is a mess.
Yeah, it was like, it was wild. Like it's like almost like revisiting that history. Like I've seen it on like VH1 or whatever, where they like pull up.
Yes, like,
Queen pulls up their thing, and they're
yeah.
like so confident about like, here's my
Classic
solo.
albums,
And
yeah.
I'm just looking at it and being like, I can't believe this is the
We let
thing
this fly.
that we thought was okay.
Elmer's glue and popsicle sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It does, but I think that's like the charm of stuff now is like everything that I've ever loved about music, even like with the whole B-sides theme, it's like it's usually the scrappiness and the charm. Like charming music is really the biggest like selling point of like that feeling that you get every time you discover like a new band. It's like, is their charm, and usually that's the thing. And then as you get like incrementally bigger or whatever, you lose some of that charm because you get, you know, the ego gets involved, and then it's like you have to like rediscover the charm of making records the way you did them. It's like hard to work backwards. You know?
Yeah, I loved how we made those EPs, and it, honestly, still how we make the records now.
Yeah.
It's like we set a bar, and then we just do everything in our physical power to like go above that bar. You know, like if we're trying to figure out a sound or a synth sound or the way the snare drum works, like we'll figure out some way to get it to that point. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of interesting. It's like I feel like we were just like Reeve said, like popsicle sticks and glue. We were just trying to like keep things together. Like, yeah, that sounds like how we're trying to get it to sound. You know, it's kind of cool.
When things were trending and going viral, did you feel any sense of begrudgment, meaning that why now? Why not earlier?
Those feelings. I mean, for me personally, I did feel that, but like I feel like in the same breath or the same thought, I had to be like grateful for it while being ungrateful, you know, feeling ungrateful for it. Because it was just like, oh, these people, this song's been around forever. Why now? And it's like, well, why now? Like,
It was like that
because now
thing
works, you know?
from Step Brothers where they get the
We got
night
him when we're
vision.
40.
Even better, we got him when we're 40.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like when you date this girl for a while and then you break up and then she comes crawling back years later, like, oh,
because I'm hot now?
yeah, you know, now I'm flying
so
around.
hot now.
You touched on the recording process, and you guys finally released a proper debut album.
Yeah.
And congrats on that.
Thank you.
And did you touched on it for a second in terms of going back to those ethos of DIY popsicle sticks and glue and
I
things?
think
Did
it's
you
the only
try
way we
to
know.
revisit those processes?
I think it's the only way we know how to do it, really. I think we've gotten, I think like Sean and his brother Alex, who like produced the records, I think they, like compared to what you guys knew in 2016 versus what you know now, like obviously you've figured out like, oh, this is how you use that
It's a
silly
better
plug-in.
workflow.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I think it's just, but we're still for the most part, we all have our paintbrush and we're just trying to splash paint against it like a canvas trying to make something cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like making it up as we go.
Yeah, there's so many great songs on here, man.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not just the
Yeah.
one song. How far back does this go? Because I can imagine that you pause for a second,
Yeah.
you have a stack of songs, you know, unfinished and so forth.
Well, what's funny is it seems like, I mean, to this point, until we put out another new album, it seems like all the songs we're playing are old. Even the new ones are old, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of, we're like on this like weird trajectory where we're always a couple of years behind where we presently are. And I know a lot of like artists run into that situation where you spend so much time trying to like shape your sound, and it's so all of a sudden something you made a year later has to kind of fit into the fold of something you made. And so it's like a weird balance to make that work. But I think the benefit we had was the ability to have the time that we had to reflect on things gave us so much more of a sense of identity of what the project is. Because I think when you're starting as a band, like even when we were making the first EPs, it's just like, let's just make stuff, you know, with no sense of like, here's the vision.
Yeah.
And then everybody else got to define the vision for 7 years through the lens of other people being like, this sound reminds me of this, and it feels like this, and the band name makes me think of this. And then all of a sudden, not that influenced how we were writing, but it influenced the sense of like, oh, we do have a vision. Like somehow the collective of what we do and create together feels like we have our identity. And so it's like less about worrying on all those other fronts and just focusing on making the best version of the vision of the project,
And
which is hard to find.
With Pineapple too, like we started writing it probably the beginning of 2020 and recorded it in June of 2020, and the record was like mixed, mastered, closed by the end of summer 2020 or 2021?
2021.
2021.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, yeah.
And we like didn't open it back up until it was released. So it wasn't like we got to sit with it and none of us were like sick of it. You know what I mean? It was nice to like sit with it for 2 years or whatever and then be like, it still sounds good. Like we still like it. We're not going back and tweaking things, redoing vocals. Like there was something kind of special about it. You know, and that's what I meant about us playing like old songs, even the new ones, is like we sat on these for like 3 years almost before the record came out, or 2 years before it came out. So
What was the most difficult part about coming back together? Because you guys did pause, did your own thing, got married, had kids, and so forth and so on, right?
I think that's probably, for me personally, I'm the one with the kids. So I think that's the hardest part, but like I just have to tell myself that it's like, this is what I do. And my kids are still really young, so like they kind of already know what is going on and they think it's cool. You know, for a 2 and a 4-year-old, like they think it's pretty cool. So I just have to like remind myself that when I'm missing home and I'm like, God, I wish I was, you know, there instead of here. But it's like, well, this is what I love to do. This is my job. I'm very fortunate to say this is my job. You know, could be a lot of other bummer things I could be doing, you know. Very grateful that it
What about you guys? You guys were doing various jobs as well, right?
I was like 21 when we started this band, so I just had life stuff to do, like, you know, a little bit of growing up. Like, I'm kind of stoked it's working out now because I have a better outlook on life and head on my shoulders than just wanting to, you know, be wild and have too much fun all the time. So was
that what you were thinking when you first joined the band? And
yeah, I mean, I was always pretty like on the mark with, like, you know, what's work and all that kind of stuff. But as far as just like enjoying the moment and everything, I feel like this time around I'm really just loving it, you know. And last time taught me that it can go away. So now I just like every day that we're together, I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, like this band has already accomplished things that like middle school us would be like, what? You did that? You know what I mean? Like we've in the last year. So it's like if tomorrow someone was like, hey, you guys can't do this anymore, we'd be like, well, it's a bummer, but at least I'm pretty happy. I get to hang my hat up on like, you know, a pretty positive note because we've got to accomplish things that a lot of bands don't get to do, which is insane, you know? So we have to be very fortunate about what we're doing. And I think, like Reeves said, it came to our lives as a good time. At a good time, I think we would have been a lot messier if we were younger and all of this was happening because we wouldn't know how to handle it. And I think like going home for a couple of years and kind of getting humbled by life and like letting the other you have a chance at growing up instead of just the guy in the van playing the shows, you know, like, okay, who else am I besides that? Like, what else am I? And I think for 4 years we got to like really sit with that and figure out like who that other person was. And now that other person is in Beachweather, you know?
Yeah, I probably worked like 8 different jobs, had like 5 different bands, like in those
just
5 years or something like that. So yeah, just to know I've tried it all, and now that we're back on this, and I just like really am enjoying it, you know.
Even in 2020, when things went on pause for everybody, there was a lot of reflection and a lot of soul searching and things like that. Did you ever think, Reeve, that you would not do music again?
I actually entered a barber school and wanted to open a shop one day.
Oh.
And then in the middle of that, our song started doing like really well, and I was just like, school will be around, let's go do it, you know what I mean? Like I want to go do this thing, and you know,
Although you should have finished it so you could like
No, I couldn't.
line us
So
up
you
a little
could-
bit.
yeah,
you know,
you-
like
We would all be
due.
wearing capes right
I'm
now.
very
I'm better than pretty much everybody at like a Supercuts, but you know.
Were you inspired because everybody was
Supercuts
cutting their
A.
own hair during 2020? And
Yeah, I was cutting all my friends' hair. Growing up, like as a teenager, we all gave each other like really punky haircuts and everything. So
I definitely shaved my head in 2020.
yeah, I shaved mine too, and
Buzzed it all off.
yeah, I gave myself like the cool like mullet mohawk thing.
Oh,
and
nice.
Did all this stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Now that this is happening, knowing that I was happy in life without it, now it makes it all even like cooler.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he like almost had to like zen out. You know, like not if this doesn't happen, I will never be happy. Like I found happiness, and now it's like, oh, I'm like, this is so cool.
This is just a little
It's
icing.
it's a
on top,
gift,
you know,
yeah.
it's like,
And I also see that a lot with like younger artists now coming up, where so much of the viral moment of the thing is like their identity is defined for them the minute it happens. The minute that thing is viral, that's
who they
that
are.
is their identity.
They have to be that. Yeah.
And if they think that the stakes are, if not this, then nothing. Like
Right.
there's no middle. There's either I am nothing or I'm the thing that. And the reality is, a lot of that moment is built around the idea of just that. It's built around a moment, and 99% of those moments can't be lived up to because there's no foundation. It's just kids with inspirational, cool like the thing is, I think they're all actually some really cool thoughts that are like moments that are happening. It's just that it's being rewarded in such a way where there's no room for anyone to develop into something really special. So it's like they have to almost like backpedal 5 years to then come back to it, and then you kind of see who can outlive that stuff. And
yeah, it sucks when everybody's like decided who you are and you're like, I'm that? Okay, I guess I can be that. And you have no idea how to be that, so you're constantly trying to juggle and be like, I think this is what they want me to be like. And I think with us this time around with this band is like, I am guilty of feeling that way for sure when I was younger playing music. I'm sure we all can kind of agree with that. But I think this time around we took a second to be like, this is who we are. This is the weird that we like to do, you know what I mean? We're going to take this attitude and take it to the band, and if people aren't aligned with that, we'll just shift and go this way, you know? And I think that's really what's helping us out the most is that, like, we're not afraid to say no to things that we probably should say yes to, but we're like, is this the best thing for us? We'll all go, nah, and then pass, or vice versa, you know?
Yeah, we're a pain.
I think, no, I just mean, like, I think
Reeves like, I'm going to go back to cutting hair if you make me do this.
I just mean, I think you
no
can,
problem,
like,
man.
you can kind of self-sabotage if you say yes to everything because you think every opportunity is going to be the opportunity to take you. And sometimes it's like, maybe that's not the route, and, you know, it's okay to pass on certain things. And I think just us being comfortable with what we know this band should be, and like just aligning all of our values through whatever that is, I think kind of helps us like enjoy this a little better this time around. Not that we didn't before, but it's just fun now.
How much is there a sense of urgency or, you know, quote unquote, taking advantage of, you know, that moment, that lightning in a bottle while you have it? And resisting, like you're just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been experiencing that for like the last year, and like you do have those thoughts of like, well, this is gonna fade soon. This can't last forever.
And then something else happens. And
yeah,
it's like,
but even so, it's like becoming comfortable with the idea that it is gonna fade eventually. You know, whether it's tomorrow or 100 years from now, like the song is gonna not do as well as it's doing right now for us, or the record's not. You know, like this is definitely everything's a roller coaster, and it's like you have to be ready for it rather than being bummed when it happens and being like, why me? Everybody sucks. You know, it's like, I get it. You know,
it's literally viewing it as much of. I really do think it's like there are people that can withstand music for the long haul and understand. It's literally like we're in a peak and that's cool, and like we don't know where the top of the. Someone will be like, all right, that's the thing, and like, and when that happens, or if that happened, or whatever, that's fine, because even the bottom version of this is like, it's crazy. I mean, we're playing a show tonight, a headlining show tonight that, you know, 6 years ago the band couldn't support an artist.
The last time we were in San Francisco was 6 years ago.
So, I mean, it's looking at that trajectory as like looking at everything as a little victory instead of like, I don't know what the version of like success is so relative.
I thought we peaked in 2016. And so if you thought that we'd come back and be able to play like late night TV and get these crazy shows, I'd be like, oh, I thought we were killing it when we were playing, you know, Rebel Lounge in Phoenix, like bringing 200 people to a show or something, you know?
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. I mean, just very grateful to actually be able to do it. Because they're definitely, I know you asked Reeve earlier, but there was a time where I didn't even think during the break where I was like, music isn't the thing. Like I've been a graphic design guy, like merch designer for a long time. So I was like, I got my kids, this is easy, you know, not easy, but like it's easier for me to handle. Like I was okay with not doing music for a bit, but that's when it grabs you, because it's like, no, dude, this is what you love.
It pulls you back in.
It just waits for you to like
hides in the corner.
Life's like, I'm just kidding, come back.
And I welcomed it with full, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like I've been wanting to do this since I was 10 years old. You know, when my sister was watching NSYNC concerts, and I was like, how do I sing on stage? That's really cool, you know? And then that turned into pop punk me with Blink-182, and like I've always wanted to do this. So it's like I said, if it all ends tomorrow, it's like I've already accomplished my dreams 12 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Come take it. I don't care.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I mean, you deserve all of it.
Thanks.
As everybody has been saying, and it's so great to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for having us.
Best of luck with everything.
Great.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's the guys of Beach Weather.
There we go.
Business
Good
meeting.
old handshake.
Beach Weather right here on B-Sides.